Utility patent covers functional differences in a product. Um, it's what you most typically think of when you think of an invention. You think of someone who notices a problem. They see something that they do in their everyday life or in their work that there is a challenge because the things that exist already don't solve the problem. There's a limitation. There's a gap. And so they see that gap and they go about trying to figure out what type of product would solve that problem, would work better than other products that are similar to it. So typically what they come up with then is a functional invention. You think about someone inventing something in their garage, and tinkering with something until they perfect it. That's usually a structural or functional invention that they come up with. And therefore, it's going to be a utility patent. And so what a utility patent protects then is, um, hopefully on a conceptual level, the things about the invention that make it function better, the things that are structurally different about it from other similar products, other products in the prior art, things that are structurally different that help it to accomplish its result better. So those structural differences, those functional differences are what we protect in a utility patent. Now, utility patent application then is a lot more complicated than a design, although I haven't mentioned what a design is yet, but let's just stay with this. So utility patent application is fairly complicated because it's usually a pretty complex description of the product, of the invention, of how it operates, how it functions. There are drawings that show the various features of it. And a series of fairly detailed drawings, a detailed description, could be 10 pages, could be 50 pages. And then the invention is defined using words. So there are what's called patent claims, which in the patent claims then make very clear description of what the invention is and what it isn't. That it's a container having a middle portion that has a top and a bottom, that it has an opening at the top, and then it has a closure device or an opener device that punctures a portion of the top in order to create an opening for drinking, whatever. That type of description is how a utility patent is defined, about how the scope of protection is defined, so that if something else fits that description, if it's a container that has the middle portion with the top and bottom, it's got an upper part that has an opener which punctures to make a hole, et cetera, et cetera. If it fits that description, then it's going to be infringing the patent. So how you draft this description is very critical, is super critical to the scope of protection. Now, one of the interesting things about how this description is drafted is that what matters is the prior art. You could only make the description that's as broad as is permissible by the prior art. So if you if that description is too general, like the description I just made, clearly it describes something that already exists. It describes beverage cans that have been around for years. And so that patent claim will not be permitted. The patent office won't allow that patent application to go through with a claim like that. And you get a rejection, and you'd have to make it more specific. And then maybe it'd have something to do with the way in which this opener is configured, that it has a lip behind the back that catches onto your finger, or there's something that's new and non-obvious that you then add to the claims that will then help you to distinguish this and get a utility patent on this invention. And so again, that's what makes up a utility patent. And there's a complicated description. There's a complex series of claims that define what the invention is, and it defines it from a structural or functional standpoint. Now, a design patent is strictly for the ornamental appearance of the product. So it's strictly for the shape of the product for a non-functional purpose. So it's like maybe in a can like this that it has, this configuration. And if you look at the can, kind of more closely than you might ordinarily look at it. It's got this kind of curved lip at the bottom, which I'd never noticed before. It's got this kind of taper near the top with this curved edge, and then this rolled lip at the top. This could be a design patent if it was new. And the way that design patents are protected with a design patent application is by presenting a series of very precise drawings. And in a design patent application, it's really all about presenting the design completely from every angle. So you'd have top, bottom, front, back, left, right. And now in the case of something symmetrical, like this can, it would possibly be presented just in a couple of views, where it's just a front view, a top view, and a bottom view, because the can is basically the same all the way around. So front, back, and left and right. I mean, that's assuming that this opener here was in its original position where it was flat and you can't see it past the edge. Then just having a front view would cover the left side and the right side and the rear. There'd be no reason for those additional views. So that's how a design application is presented. And again, what it protects then is the ornamental appearance of this can. And follow-up question I got here was, can design and utility inventions be filed in one application? And the answer is no. They're separate applications. You could file them at the same time, but they're filed as separate applications. They have their own filing fees. And once they get to the patent office, they're given different serial numbers and they're assigned to different examining groups. So, I guess like in the old days when we still mailed things to the patent office, I would say, well, you could put them in the same envelope when you send it to the patent office, but that's really about it, and these days, of course, everything is filed electronically, so that's not the case. But I guess my point is that that there really is nothing about how it's handled that matters whether you file them on the same day, file them a day later, or not. But the point is they cannot be combined in a single application. So to answer your question, no, they can't be filed in a single application, but a lot of inventions are worthy of both, and you can file both applications. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We do this every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. You can click the link in the post to be invited to join us on the Zoom, so you could then ask me anything about patents and trademarks.